Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, in today's report, I wanted to focus on the New World Order. Now, many of you are well aware that Trump is doing everything that he can to halt the globalization of the world, in which we here in America are forced to give up our sovereignty. But the sad truth is, and very unfortunate truth, that the New World Order is still making headway despite some of Trump's pushes. That said, I believe Trump is doing a good job so far at attempting to, take us back to more of a nationalized country, more of make America great again values, rather than forcing New World Order policies and rules and regulations on the population. So I've got a lot to talk about because the bottom line is, despite what's happening in the news, not many media organizations are talking about what's going on the New World Order front. I want to fill you in on those details because sometimes under presidents like Trump, it can get overlooked. So today I've got a lot of information to share with you. But before I do, I want to give a quick shout out to my partner at TrumpCoin2020.com. Right now, you can get these in 0.999% silver or even in 24 karat gold. Use the code LISA to get $5 off and even a bigger discount on that gold coin. If you want more information, go to TrumpCoin2020.com. All right, back to the broadcast. So, what is this progress on the New World Order? Let's go directly to a report on ZeroHedge.com titled, Russia Warns That the New World Order is Being Formed. The article goes on to state that Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov declared today that the Western liberal model of society is dying and that the New World Order is taking its place. He goes on to state that clearly multipolarity and the emergence of new centers of powers in every way requires efforts to maintain global stability and search for a balance of interests and compromises, so diplomacy should play a leading role here. Lavrov went on to say, particularly because there are a lot of issues that require general acceptable solutions. These include regional conflicts, international terrorism, food security, and environmental protection. This is why we believe that only diplomacy can make agreements and reach sustainable decisions that we will all be accepted by. In other words, Russia is stating that the only way to solve terrorist problems and environmental issues is to form a global New World Order. And unfortunately, Russia is not alone. Even many cities here in the United States are going against President Trump and signing on with the Paris Agreement, which means President Trump stood and backed out of a Paris Agreement because of the New World Order regulations that it pushed on America. And unfortunately, cities and multiple cities here said, forget what our president did. We're going to go ahead and sign on with the New World Order Paris Agreement anyway. Take a look at this article by CityLab.com. Cities are rising in influence and power on the global stage. Cities are challenging their invisibility in global government structures like the United Nations by forging new alliances to influence international policy. The article goes on, when Donald Trump announced June 2017 that the U.S. was pulling out of the Paris Agreement, the pact between 195 nations to reduce global greenhouse gas emission, the mayors of Paris, France, Pittsburgh, and Pennsylvania responded with an op-ed in the New York Times. In it, they announced that an unprecedented alliance is emerging among more than 7,400 cities worldwide to honor and uphold the goals of this agreement, irrespective of their own country's level of commitment. They vowed to do this not only for the citizens of their city, but also for the citizens of every other city in the world. In other words, cities like Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania and other cities here in the United States of America decided to defy the President of the United States, defy the citizens of their cities, and basically sign up for a global order. And in their own words, for the betterment of every other city in the world, which means they're signing up not for an America First agenda, but for a New World Order agenda, and claiming that it's what the citizens want, even though the citizens of their own cities were not allowed to vote or allow their voices to be heard. So the mayors of these cities very clearly stated that they are part of the global order rather than America and an America first agenda. Want to know something? I believe one of the only ways that a new world order is going to be accepted by America is through some kind of chaos. Check out this report on thewashingtonpost.com. A new world order will likely only arise out of calamity. I believe the article's right, because the only way that you're going to get Americans to sign up for selling out their sovereignty and selling out their rights is through some sort of calamity or chaos. But here's my message to the American people. Don't sign up for a new world order out of desperation, out of some kind of help that's needed. Don't sell out your sovereignty in the event of a crisis. You see, the truth is, we're already making headway and having our freedoms taken by this global international new world order. Here's just one way that they're doing that. They're trying to push a national, global identification. Check out the Sustainable Development Goals on the United Nations website, specifically goal number 16.9, which states, by 2030, they will provide legal identification for all, including birth registration. That means the United Nations wants a global identification card for everyone on the planet by the year 2030. And the truth is, America is already making headway on this with a national ID. Now, this was something that was done before President Trump. This national ID is called Real.ID. Check this website here, which has all the information on Real.ID. Many of you have already switched some of your identification cards into the Real.ID. But what is the Real.ID? Well, by October 1st, 2020, at least that is the current deadline. It's already been pushed back a couple of times. That is the date that everyone will have to switch over their driver's license into a Real.ID. Now, there's some stipulations on it. The Real.ID or a passport are only what can be used to fly. If you don't have a passport or a Real.ID, you won't be allowed to fly or go into federal buildings. So you can still have your regular state driver's license, but you'll have to have a passport or a Real.ID to fly. You see how they make that kind of almost mandatory? Eventually, they'll make it mandatory for everyone to have a Real.ID. But that's the progress that we've made so far here in the United States of America. And that's not all. There's also progress being made on the one world currency. Check this article out on ZeroHedge.com. Globalists are bringing the one world currency plans out in the open. And if you recall, the Rothschilds also talked about this. Here's newspunch.com. Rothschilds get ready for a one world currency by 2018. And let's not forget the Economist magazine cover that said 2018, we should all be ready for a world currency. The New World Order may have a few dents in its helmet, so to speak, from President Trump. But many globalists are still out there pushing their rules and initiatives. Many mayors are making headway despite what President Trump has called them to do. And as you saw, they're still making headway on a global currency and a national ID. So much is happening. We still have to remember that there is globalist versus nationalism on the front today. And it's still a very real issue. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please leave them in the description box below. And don't forget, if you like what you heard, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Anyhow, I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.